and I'm feeling good.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Tamika of Love Inspired Teach. So, as you can see, I'm not podcasting from All Star Seafood and Sports. I am going to make some changes. Oh, I've got some errors, so let me trouble streaming to Facebook. Okay, don't know what that's about, but all right. It's okay as long as I've got YouTube, I suppose. But let me go ahead and check. Hmm. And Facebook's been doing this weird thing lately where it's not making it so that it's public, so that's been kind of annoying. Let's see what I can do. Um, Thank you for bearing with me. So if you could like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff while I gotta make sure I make that plug. And I do want to go ahead and, send a special shout out to Robert of All Star Seafood and Sports. I really appreciate him always being so supportive. And let's go Blue Devils because they made it to the Final Four. I couldn't tell you when the Final Four game is, but I know they made it. That's probably something I should have looked up as part of my prep, but honestly,
I couldn't tell you when the Final Four game is.
Okay, so that lets me know it's working. I don't know why this is saying it's not, but good to know. So how do I close this and go back to what I was doing? All right, should be good to go now. I don't think we have any echo, so that's good. I still don't know what's going on with Facebook and why from here it's saying that it's not working, but I can see it just fine, so I'm going to run with that and just say again, thank you to anyone who's catching the replay. Thank you for all those who are watching real time. Really appreciate you. I'm going to make some changes. In case you don't know, I am Tamika Williams. I am the creator of Love Inspired Teach, otherwise known as LITE. We are actually a sales and marketing consulting firm. We started off as a blog, just talking about, ways to overcome challenges, and that's by living with your light, which is things that you love, things that inspire you, things that teach you, so that we can all evolve. And I've moved and I pivoted during the pandemic to applying that to sales and marketing, to business principles, to entrepreneurship, because I have over 20 years of sales and marketing experience. And I do love and enjoy working in sales and marketing. I am a social person. Some people would call me an extrovert. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of wondered, am I really an extrovert? Or could I possibly be an ambivert? Because there are times now where I just want to chillax a little bit. My voice is going again. It was actually doing pretty well for a while, so there's not even much in there. Um, but I also want to send a shout out and a thank you to my good co-parent. My son's dad is letting the kids have a play date, and I have a good co-parenting relationship and a strained co-parenting relationship. Actually did mediation yesterday, and I was told we were parallel parenting, and it's so funny because I told them during that session, I said, wow, this is like a flashback, because I made that same comment to my co-parent, and I didn't even want to rehash what he said at that time. But when someone else says it, it's affirming, because I made that same exact comment to him. And I guess I will bring it up. He said he didn't want a parallel parent, but she made the point that that's what's working best for us. And I'm like, no, absolutely, it's not the best. It's what we do. It's working, but is it the best? Absolutely not. So, needless to say, I do want to say my thank you, express gratitude. And I also want to express gratitude to you all, anyone who's been watching, supporting, because I have been going through a lot. It's weird because there are people that have all this commentary about if you have chaos going on in your life. I have a reset going on in my life. So, yeah, you can look at all the different changes I'm going through as chaos, but they're also a reset that's going to lead to bigger and better things and greater opportunities for me and my family. And I own that. I fully own that. And I fully own that there are things that I've done that have triggered some of these resets. And it's time. I'm ready. I'm okay with that. Just like there's some person who's really an acquaintance, more of a stranger to me, that has all this commentary about why don't you do this? Why don't you respond? Basically wanting me to give into what my bullies and the gentleman that was it last podcast or was it the podcast before? I think it was the last podcast where I was like, no, I'm being harassed. But I don't give in to people like that. I've encountered it so many times in my life. And if you give into it, they're gonna keep doing that. And I'm not a proponent of enabling those who have a lot of work to do. So a lot of healing to do. So with that being said, let's get on to the topic. So you can see it. Today is April 1st. It is actually April Fool's Day. And I wanted to talk about wealth today. So let's talk about April Fool's Gold, or fool's gold in general. It's a misnomer for a rock that looks like gold but really isn't gold if you look closely, but there's still value in it. Let's give some credence to the fact that every stone has a different level of value. And when it comes to sales and marketing, you may have heard me talk about how you have to market to different audiences. And what the recommendation always is to do offer a free item. So if you go to my website, I think I offer signing up for free, and I don't even remember, I'll be honest with you guys. And I did an update to the website. So go check out loveinspiredteache.com to see what I give for free. I don't even know. And I have not connected with Dada, my social media coordinator, in a while. We have not been in regular communication for the past month, ever since my house caught on fire. But again, you should always offer something for free. It piques people's interest. Everybody likes something free, and there's some people who don't, but it depends on what you offer. Then you always want to have a low ticket item, a mid ticket item, and a high value ticket item. So when I mentioned fool's gold and wealth, part of what spurred me to talk about this is, let's face it, my house caught on fire. I own a condo. It's a duplex down. And if you've watched or you follow me on different platforms, perhaps Facebook, my personal page, you will know that I have challenges with my neighbors. They don't like me. They're not my favorite either. It is what it is. And the neighbor made a comment thinking that my mom owned my house for whatever reason. And I had to correct him. I own my home. Therefore, some of the things I can do that the renters, because it's a 3-flat building basically, but there's 4 condo buildings and all of them have 3 floors. All of them have a first floor duplex down. So I own my basement and I own the first floor, right? But the second and third floor in my particular building are investment properties, and they happen to be owned by the same owner. And his renters, after the fire, could not enter the building or units without permission. As an owner, I was able to do that. Um, let's also just talk about the whole insurance process, okay? Because I'm actually getting ready to sell insurance again. I've sold insurance at various points in my life, and there's a lot of value in insurance because in case you haven't noticed, I am in yet another location. I'm in a temporary home. It's going to give my family stability for at least the next 6 months. If we need to go longer, we can stay longer. I can extend my lease. So thank you to my new landlords. They're amazing. Everything's been great with them so far. They've been so accommodating. I was able to, if I wanted to move in that same day, they would have let me. I think they understood and appreciated the value of insurance money. And I bring this up again because what brought me to podcasting about wealth was my having insurance, having a fire in my home, and it was able to sustain me and my family for the last month because crazy enough, it's been a month since the fire. And yeah, it's been a lot for me. But my kids, I'm thankful they're resilient and everyone's okay. Everyone keeps reminding me, thank goodness everyone's safe and healthy, right? And yeah, that's true. I have to admit, though, because my grandmother had passed right before the fire, and also because her funeral was several days after the fire, that for me, I don't know, I would give anything to have my grandma back. I want to be with her. I think that, yeah, I I recognize I'm in a reset. I recognize that my life is challenging right now. And there's going to be some benefits on the other side of this, but it's hard. It's hard and it's crazy because one thing I've noticed, sales and marketing point here, is that the things that interest people um, seem to be my tears. But I hate crying, so I'm going to try my best not to cry. But I miss my grandma. I'd rather be with her. And as hard as things have been lately, this is where I have to lean into like the whole reason why I started my company. And it was to inspire others when they're going through difficult times. And dealing with insurance, I will say the insurance company that I'm working with has been pretty good. It's been, for the most part, like relatively smooth in spite of, Um, and I just think it could be a lot worse. I haven't really compared notes with other people who maybe have different insurance companies. The overarching company for my condo insurance is National General, but my plan is actually through Encompass. I happened to write my own policy because I was selling property and casualty insurance for a Texas-based company, and interestingly enough, I will be selling. I have to go back through licensing, get my um, get I'm gonna start with life insurance, but I'll also be selling annuities. Ooh, pardon me. My sleep pattern's a little off again because of the primarily because of the stalker. Um, I think I'm I think I'm gonna assign it to that because yeah. Anyway, crazy person contacted me at 3 in the morning. Was that today or was that yesterday? Everything's blending together. That was yesterday. But regardless, um, insurance is a great vehicle to protect yourself. So, I mean, the insurance policy that I bought for my condo was based on the assets I had at the time. But what I really want to encourage everyone to do is to make sure that you review your insurance policy with your insurance agent, and you may need to increase your insurance policy. I surely wish I had. Because while we are in temporary housing and we're covered for the most part for the next 6 months, if my remodel takes longer than that, I need to be making more commissions and securing more contracts. So with that said, I want you all to make sure to check out the website. And for anyone who's made it this far into the show, we're almost 15 minutes in. I will definitely at the 15-minute marker let you know what freebie I want to share with y'all. But for anyone who's joining in on the podcast tonight, you'll definitely get a freebie. Because I've got LinkedIn, I've got YouTube, and I've got Facebook for the podcast tonight. Um, and I will say, LinkedIn is the toughest market as far as sales and marketing. Like everyone there does so much. It's like so blasé. It's so I don't know. But I think that also gives me the opportunity to not only say you'll get a freebie for watching this far if you get to the 15-minute mark, but also letting you all know that I'm making some changes because the responsiveness to the platforms I'm targeting it's just showing me that I can do better prep. And that's what I want to do for you all because I've teased Dr. Gene Chandler several times. Still haven't posted his recording, which I do have, but I want to switch to a bi-weekly format. So we're at the 15-minute marker. So for anyone that's watching, or the first two people to catch the replay, if you actually, for anyone who's watching tonight, if you hit me up in my email, Tamika at loveinspireteache.com, TEMEKA, the @ loveinspireteache.com, and you let me know you'd like a freebie, I'll not only give you a free 30-minute consultation, but I'll also send you a free $5 Starbucks gift card and one of my favorite Starbucks cups for Earth Day, because this is my birthday month. If you inbox me, and you have to mention April Fools if you are catching it tonight. If you are catching the replay, it's only going to be the first person to hit me up, and you have to mention April Fool's Gold. So put that in the subject line of the email, and it'll let me know who's supporting. And that's only going to go for the next, anyone who does that within the next 2 weeks. I'll give people 2 weeks to watch it, and I'll honor this offer. Okay? So everyone who does it gets the free 30-minute consultation. You get a $5 Starbucks gift card, and you're also going to get one of the Starbucks cups that I like for Earth Day. So hopefully that appeals to you. So there's your freebie, even if you don't go to the website. So again, I wanted to talk about wealth. Let me just put up some of the past things we talk about. So as far as your money mindset, I've already mentioned the importance for me of having insurance. Insurance hasn't benefited me just with my condo. I also have obviously auto insurance. And in my previous job, I worked in a senior living home. I was director of sales and marketing. And right before I left for Guatemala, I come out to my car having like a tiny little ding on it. But every time I'd open the door, it was impacted, and every time I open it. And there's only one person who was parking next to me, and she was struggling to park at that spot. And she was next to a concrete pole, a support beam. And her car was jacked, right? And I was like, there's only one person that would have really hit my car. And I don't even think I ever got a check from the insurance. I had to pay a $500 deductible. I think they're still in subrogation, still fighting over who was at fault. I don't know what's going to happen. But for me as an employee, it was really frustrating. And my boss's response at the time was pretty lackluster as well. But having insurance made it so that the repair work, which I'm fairly certain was over $500, because they had to do the front fender, they had to do the driver's side door. So it added up to more than my deductible. But I didn't have to come out of pocket. Now, I knew I was going to be at risk of my insurance rates going up. But when I was talking with the insurance company, actually related to my policy, I need to contact them. Rates are going up in general. I definitely need to get that handled soon. I hope that worked out okay. Appreciate that reminder for having this topic now. So yeah, I am going to give myself a little break here, and I am going to play something for you guys, because I just need to take a break. Actually, I'm just going to have you guys be put on hold while I get something for my throat. Okay, because I kept yawning on you guys, I went ahead and got some cola. I'm not gonna say which brand, but hopefully some caffeine will help keep me going. Um, but I also saw the other reason why I wanted to do this podcast on this topic. So, to get me back on track, money mindset. I meet a lot of really cool people being a sales and marketing person, being someone who loves to communicate, converse. I have the gift of gab. And actually, there's a guy that I've been seeing, and he's super smart. He's really good. He's like really savvy, but I feel like he doesn't lean into his business prowess. And he sleeps a lot too, which is weird. But hey, we'll see where things go. Um, But I just feel like he holds himself back. So you have got to give yourself the freedom to lean into your areas of strength. And if you feel as though you need more advice, you need to make sure you reach out to your contacts, carve out time every week to come up with a plan. Um, you've got to start with a goal in mind. What is your why? You know, I've talked about that before. I've worked with a lot of companies. They really, the ones that are the multi-level marketing companies, the ones that are entrepreneurial in nature, they'll really hone in on what drives you. So when I worked in corporate America, they don't ask you what your why is, but they tell you what the goal is, right? So that's supposed to be your driver. They refer to KPIs, key performance indicators. In entrepreneurial type of companies, you get to decide what's going to drive you and what your key performance indicators are going to be. And again, when I went to grab my something to help my parched throat, I saw why I decided to do the topic um, of April Fool's Gold about money, finances. I have a check for over $100,000. Actually, it's closer to the next level of 100,000s, but regardless, I have to share that with my bank because it's money towards a portion of the cost. That's not even the full cost of rebuilding my home, y'all. I'm gonna exceed that amount. So it's bittersweet. It I keep trying to remind myself that there's gonna be some good that comes out of this, but it is hard. It was hard to watch my home burn and all the smoke and the response of my neighbors. That was hard. And it was harder losing my grandma. So I'm gonna throw that one out there. But I keep reminding myself that I'm gonna rebuild and things are gonna be better, but part of me wants to just admit I didn't. If I was gonna renovate and I was gonna remodel, I wanted to do it on different terms. Like I still get to pick everything out. There's a budget, but this isn't how. I'm sorry. This is not how I wanted to remodel my home. The way my family's been impacted, the way that my daughter's dad questioned how she's doing and coping, and amazingly, my kids are doing really well. I think it's finally starting to hit me harder because I'm tired. And everyone kind of gets on me because I keep mentioning that I'm tired, but it's the truth. I feel like sometimes I'm not allowed to be tired and feel the enormity of the situation. But I am allowed. And I know that as a result of this, my financial decisions are changing. Um, I am approaching things differently. The way I pursue contracts is going to be different. The way that I pursue my employment opportunities has already changed. And I definitely am going to pursue different insurance options. I think what scares me, and let me just be honest with this part of it, is that I know that my parents, um, I'm going to do something for Facebook just a moment. Okay. And then just taking off Facebook and re-adding it because it was having some trouble for the comments. But the fear, I was gonna own it. My parents had two their houses have flooded multiple times, right? Um and to the point where it would get difficult for them to have insurance. And that's what I don't want to happen to me. And I only have one instance of that, so it'll be okay. But at the same time, it's just you want to do everything in your power to protect your home, protect your assets. So I had started to put up there that your home is an asset, right? Surprised. YouTube is usually a lot more responsive. Um, So I've talked about insurance. I've brought up how insurance can be beneficial to you. How do you invest though? Um, I mean, actually, let's back up. How do you generate income, right? Um, in order for you to invest, in order for you to purchase a home, sometimes you have to build up your reserves so that you can have a down payment on a home, or maybe you're saving up for a vacation, but you create a fund for that. You have to create several buckets for that, and uh ultimately you can't let other things chip away at it. So here's the thing, there's always going to be different emergencies that come up, but what do you make sure, like, there's no break when there's an emergency, like that is untouchable? Do you have a methodology for making things untouchable? And one thing I'll recommend, sometimes what I do to myself, like, you can buy certificates of deposit, you can purchase annuities, you purchase something where it makes it harder for you to touch the money. For example, there are bank accounts where the minimum balance has to be maintained at $10,000. That means that you will always have $10,000 in funds. Like, yes, it's your money, but you promise the bank that you're always going to leave them with $10,000 in funds. So there's different ways to manage your money, and you should really look into all those options so that you are creating a cushion, creating a nest egg. And the recommendation is to always have 3 to 6 months of emergency funds available to you. Most people I know scoff at that. As someone who's been in legal hell, I know for me, I scoff at it all the time because it's felt impossible to save. I even told my daughter's dad the other day, I was like, I don't have a lot of emergency money because we keep having to fight each other in court. We can't seem to find a middle ground. We don't communicate well. And it's aggravating because I know I can communicate with my other co-parent. What is it about this one that makes it so difficult? Once I figure it out, I'll be sure to let you know. I think I know what it is. I even said it on my live. I know that I have feelings of, I have to say it, hatred towards him. And I don't think he'll admit that he feels the same towards me. I think that for me is what is most aggravating is he lies. He lies. He lies about how he feels towards me. He lies about how he treats me. And that fuels my hatred. It's not even anger anymore. It's hatred. But needless to say, it would be nice to know that I could set aside money and other needs and costs wouldn't get in the way. And that's what I've been advocating for over and over again. So when we talk about building wealth, you have to put yourself first. You have to put this goal first. You have to decide what it is you're working towards so that you can do it. And when it comes to sales and marketing, as a sales and marketing person, one of my jobs is to figure out what is important to you so we can justify a purchase, right? that's the that's the reality of the situation. So excuse me. If you want to support me and my family, you can see my Cash App is up there. You can see how you can provide funds via Zelle. I also have Chime. I have PayPal. Just reach out to me. But I am not above support at this point. And what I was going to do, because I want to make sure that you guys all know there's changes coming and that we are definitely going to be switching to that bi-weekly format. So this month, instead of there being 4 podcasts, I think that's how many Tuesdays there are in this month, I'm only going to do 2. So I'm going to switch to every week, and that is starting this month. So that way I'll be able to properly market Dr. Jean Chapman. And for anyone who follows, who knows, I've got another bonus for you. I will give a $20, we're not doing Amazon right now, a $20 credit through, I'll figure out whatever business or it'll be like a gift card of some sort, but it'll be $20 basically to go towards different stores of your choosing. It's going to be probably a Black owned business. If you can tell me which old school hip hop group has sampled Duke of Earl, which is sung by Dr. Jean Chapman. Okay, so I want to put that out there. Whew. Why do I feel like I could have swore I copied something and it didn't work? So I'm trying to add this banner. Let's see. I think that's right. And let me just check real quick. Oh, I don't. My nose is like the later I go, the later into the evening it gets, the more I have this breathing issue. And I keep thinking it's gonna get better. And it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. Just checking I got this right. Yep, I did. So I've got that. I made it so the sound doesn't go. All right. So I've touched on the value of insurance. I've touched on, even from a sales and marketing perspective, just not only you being a consumer, but also being as a business owner, you wanting to appeal to people by having a free item, having a low ticket item, a medium ticket item, medium value item, and a high value item. But that is what generates wealth so that you can invest. So when you choose what to invest in, remember we talked about You want to make sure you choose something that you care about, set a goal. And then if you're also a homeowner or not a homeowner, you regardless always want to have 3 to 6 months worth of emergency assets. So I feel like this is common knowledge or basic knowledge, but then I realize I've learned different things than other people, so I have to stop making those assumptions. So if you knew that already, great. But if you didn't know that, can you put that in the comments for me, especially if you're watching the replay? Again, thank you to anyone who's checking out the replay. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, all the good stuff. I really appreciate that. Now, if you know me, if you follow me for a while, you should know one of my favorite songs is by Lotto, formerly called Mulatto, uh, about having big energy. But every time I watch that video, she basically does it like this guy who's daydreaming that's won a lottery ticket. So I find it to be really cute. But, obviously, the first thing he says he would do if he won the lottery was he was going to quit his job. So interestingly enough, would any of you guys, what would you do if you fell into a whole bunch of money? Would you quit your job? I'm curious. All right, so let me get back on track. Ooh, why is it spinning? What happened? Okay, I guess it's working in some places and not in everywhere. I want to get back to, so just as far as LITE Firestarters and what we're about, I want to get back to having guests more consistently. Yes, we're going to switch to the bi-weekly format. And then the topics are always going to be either relationships or health and wellness or spirituality. And then obviously today we're talking about wealth or finances. So we will continue that rotation, but I'll probably like double them up instead of doing once every week and rotating through. But I never did it consistently where it's like week 1 it would be this, week 2 it would be that. Just kind of did it based on who I could have coming in to talk. So we will get back in order, on schedule, and have some consistency and quality for you that way. Ooh, thank you for letting me quench my thirst here. And my breathing, man. I think the later it gets or the more tired I get, it does that. And then another part of me is like, maybe it's when I don't eat as much because I did not get as much food in my system today. But it is what it is. So let's see what else we've got as far as wealth for you guys. We talked about having a money mindset, pursuing your passions. I also have talked about cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency being a good way, another methodology to use to conserve funds. A friend of mine who did a lot of their own research, Andrew Jackson, came on, spoke about a whole bunch of amazing and great things, and really gave some insight on how to leverage Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to help you reach your financial goals. So check out the podcast related to that. I should have those, stick those in the comments. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I will actually circle back to doing that. So just go to Love Inspire Teach E's YouTube page and you can find all the podcasts for the past few years up on there. What else have we got for you guys? Yeah, for Bitcoin, the recommendation was go to Bitcoin meetups. So here's the interesting thing about sitting on such a huge check. I wanted to be excited about it, but because I knew I couldn't do anything with the check because it was written to my mortgage company at the same time, that's what made me less excited. But what I guess I want to also give myself credit for is that I still, as an owner, get to make the decisions related to the home. I am still relying on myself to manage that budget. It's not like the bank, as far as I know, is not going to step in and say, "Hey, Tamika, you spend this much on the kitchen, spend this much on the bedrooms." I get to decide like what quality of finishes I want to bring back into the home. which contractors I want to use, and all that. So the benefit of being wealthy, when it comes to house rich in owning your own home, is that you get to make those decisions. I also have to say I had an interesting conversation with my children. I've had several of them, and what I found to be funniest is, so my kids know what's going on, and I kind of speak finances to them fairly freely. And it was so funny because my daughter was like, "Mommy, when does our check come? When does our money come in?" And I was like, "Our." I was like, "I work very hard." She was like, "Oh, I mean yours." And like I've brought it up to several people that my daughter said this, like our check or our money. And I was just like, what does this little girl think? Like, yes, she will benefit from it, but it's not like it's going in her bank account. It was just hilarious to me. But then my kids, because I've had to tell them no so much lately, because I was just like, hey, I'm a little tapped and a little stretched thin. If you follow me, I've even been dealing with child support court. It's been awful. It's been absolutely awful. Like, to the point that dad even was trying to like make a commentary about, why do you even need money for me? And I'm just like, because it's for our child. Like, him trying to say because I shouldn't have gotten, let's say, for in this instance, parking tickets. I'm just like, dude, you like, maybe he's never had a parking ticket, but good for him. I'm not perfect. So I have the perfect father for my daughter. Apparently, he's perfection. He's better than all the rest of us. That's the attitude he carries, anyway. But anyhow, my kids are always, dreaming about what they would buy if they were rich or if they had all this money. And I told them, my goal actually isn't to be rich, it's to be comfortable. And I feel like being middle class or upper middle class is where you're comfortable. Like, when you're in poverty and you're living paycheck to paycheck, and when you're um like, it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul, to pay your bills, you're always in this scramble. That's a different level. Like, I don't want to be low income. I want to be at minimum comfortable. And my daughter was like, I want to be rich. And I'm like, I grew up with money. I lived, my parents bought a home that was on a golf course. Okay, let me put it that way. I lived around people that had money. My brothers actually lived around multimillionaires, okay, because I'm the oldest, but I watched my parents struggle. And the sacrifice that I saw, and this is something me and my therapist talk about, is that them getting the money that they had, the sacrifice came at quality time and family time, and the quality of our relationships deteriorated. And for me, I just want to live differently. Like, I would choose happiness over money any day, and I would choose um, knowing and loving my kids over having a whole bunch of money, but my kids hate me. And that's a like close to home issue. I'm not talking to my mom right now, and I've mentioned it in certain places. I don't remember if I've mentioned it on the podcast, but she has a Bentley. She's gonna be mad and hate that I even bring up that she has a Bentley. But what I always hated is she would lie to my kids and be like, "I'm not rich," and I'm like, I don't know any middle income people or poor people that have a Bentley. I don't. I'm gonna do like my son does me. He blinks. So the sacrifice, though, is the strain on relationships. The sacrifice is the amount of time you spend. And I've even had this conversation with um, my daughter's attorney when she had one, when we were in the thick of the court case. She was telling me about how this bottle girl got knocked up by this guy, and this guy, of course, she ended up having twins, I think. I could be making up a story, like, not to tell everyone's business, so maybe it's a good thing I'm making up a story. But regardless, the guy that she got pregnant by was, maybe is like a wealth manager, so he's always chasing clients, chasing big money. And so, to him, he's the better parent, but he's always chasing money. So how is he the better parent when he's not available? The fact of the matter is, kids need both parents. They need to be taken care of in different ways. That's why I think the shift in the world is interesting, because women can take care of themselves. And I think men are starting to realize that emotionally women gave a lot. And yeah, there's just a shift going on right now. But when it comes to being rich, do you think that people sacrifice what do you think people sacrifice in order to become wealthy? I'm telling you from my perspective what I've witnessed sacrifice, and do I think it's worth it? I don't. Like, yes, money doesn't buy everything. Yes, money doesn't buy happiness. But I always hear people with money say, but it sure does make life easier. Does life being easier guarantee you quality? It guarantees you quality material things, but it guarantees you quality depth in your relationship, quality depth in your experiences. Does it do that? And so I guess to shift the wealth conversation, like, is wealth only about money? Are we only focused on material wealth? Like, as an entrepreneur, isn't part of the reason why you become an entrepreneur because you want some level of freedom? Not just financial freedom, but time freedom, the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, or decide, hey, I'm not dealing with that employee. Or, hey, if you want to be like the orange guy that sits in the Oval Office and just fire people left and right, you want that freedom, right? So when it comes to wealth, what are you willing to sacrifice for riches? On that note, I am going to shout out the American Red Cross again, because for my birthday month, I am raising money on my personal, no, on my IG, no, on my personal Facebook page. I'm raising money for the American Red Cross, which was instrumental the day of the fire and the past 30 days following the fire. And I meant to give blood for them yesterday, but that hellish experience at mediation threw me off. Um, but yeah, donate to the American Red Cross. They provide emergency relief to people that are dealing with unexpected disasters. They are saying that there's a dire need for blood, but definitely want to support all the efforts of the American Red Cross. They are worldwide. And, I'm a member of the Oak Park River Forest Rotary Club. So Rotary Club was instrumental in eradicating polio. So check out my chapter of the Rotary Club Oak Park River Forest. So I want to send those shout outs. But to get us back on track, you got to do the things. You got to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, all that good stuff, comment, share. And thank you again for everyone who's gotten this far in the podcast. But just to wrap everything up, wealth is both material and immaterial, right? Define what's really important to you. Define your goals. Define what resonates with you, because you will be an April Fool if all you're doing is spinning your wheels and just kind of like meandering and not figuring out clearly what you want. I've done a vision board. I don't know how effective they've been. Apparently, like, people years down the line see that they've achieved their vision board goals. I've kind of moved away from doing them, but I do see the value in writing goals down. I do see the value in having a vision. I do see a value in defining a set picture, defining set parameters, and that is what is going to lead to your wealth. So if you want to make a lot of money, or if you want to go on 4 trips a year, set that as a goal. Make it non-negotiable that you set aside a little bit to achieve that goal. And you will find that you will be wealthy in whatever you decide is the end game. Okay? So, yay, I have more clean stuff. I'm sorry, I went by my condo and some smoke-ridden items I just picked up and washed. I'll probably have to wash them again. They probably still smell like smoke, but that's okay. So I apologize for the beeping. But regardless, tailor your finances towards your goals, but also listen to the advice of people that know a little bit more. So tailor your finances to your goal, your set goal, and make achieving it non-negotiable. So, don't break that piggy bank unnecessarily. Like if you can hold off on some things so that you can get your 4 trips a year in, or if you want to start your own business but you need to purchase this inventory and you need to have a certain amount, make sure that you create a set vision and have some non-negotiables so that you can achieve exactly what you want to see in your life, whatever that vision may be. And like I said earlier, start with pursuing your passion. Um, Figure out your why, figure out your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Anyone who's in corporate will know that. But it's April 1st. It's my birthday month, so I know I'm happy about celebrating that. But don't be put in a difficult position because you did not plan properly. Do not set yourself up for failure by just thinking, yeah, yes, God. Okay, so if you're religious, God will take care of us. Everything's gonna be okay. You still have to do your part. Never forget that you have to do your part. So I feel like today's topic may have been a little bit more dry, but hopefully you found it to be interesting. Because, like I said, I have children that are over here telling me, when's our check coming in? When's the insurance money coming in? And I'm like, hey, the insurance is my name. Oh, I guess that's the other point I should make, because I also had to deal with my ex-husband who owes me money, and that money he owes me was taken out of my retirement account. So make sure that you split up your finances so that if you're someone who's married, I personally think it's best that everybody has their own account in addition to there being a joint account. I have friends that manage their marital assets differently, but you should have something in your name. Don't just rent, like, don't let it just be a car which depreciates in value. Have something that grows in its value in your name and solely your name. So I did touch base on getting a certificate of deposit, also known as a CD, or getting an annuity. Get things that are in your name that are going to build value. Cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's all the other versions of cryptocurrency they have out there, but get something that you hold that is yours for you to build value on, and make it something you don't touch. Like, yes, we all need emergency funds, but really ask yourself when you're accessing those funds, is it really an emergency? Like me buying a purple hat because I really want it and it's on sale and it looks like the last one, that's not an emergency, right? I've never done that before. I've wanted to. I'm trying to think. I have, like, in my younger years, I have gone ahead and said, hey, I will make it back. But there are no guarantees. And as a mom, as a parent, I definitely approach my finances differently. They say as you get older, you get more risk averse. But the more risk you take, the more reward there is. So try to balance the amount of risk you take. And maybe I recommend being young at heart at times, because, you know, who could say if we're going to make it to the next day? I remember when, story time again. I remember when I was engaged and I had called off my engagement and just felt like my whole world was shattered, and everything looked so good on paper, but like in my heart, in my soul, in my being, like things weren't right. And when I called that engagement off, I just didn't care about a lot. I didn't care about anything. And there's this whole zero F's culture, and I had admittedly have this like laissez-faire, like who can care attitude a lot of times. And it's just because I've been through so much, and I sometimes feel like I need to correct myself and show more concern. But I don't know how to frame it, because concern for what other people think is what's going to trip you up. So this is where, again, when it comes to building wealth, make sure you have a clear picture of what is important to you, and not just a picture. Write down your goals, write down what you want to achieve, because that is going to take you so much further than just saying, oh, I wish and I hope and I dream. Holding yourself accountable. And that's the other thing to build wealth. Make sure you have an accountability partner. Sometimes it can be your financial planner. Sometimes it's your accountant. Sometimes it's your baker. Sometimes it's your business partner. Who I need to talk to my business partner. But have someone who's in your corner that's going to give you the guidance that you need, that's going to keep you on track and want to see you succeed. That's the other thing. Sometimes we keep people in our lives that don't genuinely have our best interests at heart. I was talking with my brother about that today. There's someone in our lives that's always trying to cut us down, always has something negative to say. That's probably withholding like inheritance and stuff from us because they think they know better. I advised him. I was like, I could care less. I am my own person. I build my own wealth. There's value in independence, but there's also value in speaking with experts who know more than you do. So again, if you'd like to support my company, the sales and marketing company, you can see on the ticker our Zell's loveinspiredteachy@gmail.com. You can always use Cash App at Tamika WMS. I'm also on Chime and PayPal as well. There's a typo on that, so I'm going to fix that. But don't forget to check out the website, see what our free giveaway is, and if it's not there, call me on it so I can put it back up there, because I did do some website updates, and I'd love to do a consultation with you guys. I do sales and marketing. I've been in sales and marketing for over 20 years. My company, Love Inspired Teachy, has worked with entrepreneurial brands to coach them and guide them and help them achieve their financial and business goals. And in order to achieve those business goals, you've got to date sales and marketing. You've got to date Sam regularly. So hit me up. You can go to the website. I'm at Tamika at loveinspiredteachy.com if you want to email me. And I hope you guys are having an amazing Tuesday. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, support the American Red Cross, support Oak Park River Forest Rotary Club, and shout out again to Good Co-Parents and to All Star Seafood and Sports for their ongoing support. And don't forget to check out, not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, I will have another podcast for you. And at that point, I will go ahead. I promise you this time, there's no more delaying. Dr. Gene Chapman, you will get the recorded version of Dr. Gene Chapman. And hopefully I'll get Shawnee, his granddaughter, as well. But I will be sharing with you the wisdom that Dr. Gene Chapman shared with me. And that was just on the spirit of giving. All right? Mwah. I love you guys. Have a great night. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's podcast. And I look forward to all your feedback.